students, we'll continue our session. In the previous session, we have completed problem number 19. So in problem number 19, we have to find out whether the stock is overvalued or undervalued by comparing the CAPM return with the actual expected return. So CAPM return, if it is greater than expected return, it is overvalued. If CAPM return is less than expected return, it is undervalued. If CAPM return and expected return both are equal, it is fairly valued. This is the rule for deciding the stock whether it is overvalued or undervalued. In the present problem, HIJ, 16.2 is the CAPM return, expected return 14%. So it is overvalued because CAPM return is more than expected return, overvalued. Here 13.5 CAPM return, 15% expected return, it is undervalued because CAPM return is less. Here also CAPM return is less, so it is undervalued. This is problem number 19. Now I am reading out problem number 20. See here, if RF has 9%, risk-free rate 9%, market rate RM is 15%, calculate the return on the securities and compare them with the expected returns to find out overvalued or undervalued. Exactly similar. Security 1, 2, 3. जैसा प्रीवियस प्रॉब्लम में HIJ था, उसका नाम चेंज करके 1, 2, 3 सिक्योरिटी. एक्सपेक्टेड रिटर्न ER stands for expected return 14%, 15%, 20% and beta values. तो पहला काम आपका you have to find out the CAPM return. Exactly same way 1, 2, 3 सिक्योरिटी का CAPM return मालूम करेंगे. रिस्क फ्री रेट 9% है, बीटा दे दिया प्रॉब्लम में 15%. This one market return. Apply this rule and then make the table and decide whether it is overvalued or undervalued. So you can do the 20th problem as your practice. Then 21st problem. See the 21st problem. Estimated returns and betas for 4 securities are given below. The risk-free rate 8% and the return on the market is 14%. So RF 8%, RM 14%. Find the expected return on each security. Expected return means CAPM return. CAPM return एक एक सिक्योरिटी का मालूम करना है. Which of the securities are overpriced? तो कौन से सिक्योरिटीज इसमें overpriced है और underpriced है, यही टेबल बना के मालूम करेंगे. Here securities are ABCD. तो पहले CAPM return मालूम करेंगे. ABCD will get the CAPM return. Then we apply the rule. Then we'll make the table to decide which are the securities are overpriced. Exactly similar 21st. So you can do the 21st problem as your practice. Now 22, problem number 22. See carefully. Consider 2 stocks. Now this is a different problem. Consider 2 stocks P and Q. Expected returns are given, standard deviations are given. Stock P, stock Q. Expected return is 16%, standard deviation 25%. Stock Q 18%, 30%. The returns on the 2 stocks are perfectly negatively correlated. इसका मतलब क्या होता? The returns of these two stocks are negatively correlated, and a correlation coefficient of returns between these 2 stocks is -1. Perfectly negative का मतलब -1. Correlation का value जो है -1 से लेके +1 तक आता. Perfectly negative का मतलब -1. परफेक्टली पॉजिटिव का मतलब +1. +1 से बड़ा नहीं आता कोरिलेशन का वैल्यू, -1 से कम में नहीं आता. तो हियर इट इज गिवन परफेक्टली नेगेटिवली कोरिलेटेड का मतलब दोनों का कोरिलेशन कोएफिशिएंट -1. व्हाट इज द एक्सपेक्टेड रिटर्न ऑफ द पोर्टफोलियो कंस्ट्रक्टेड टू डिराइव द स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन ऑफ पोर्टफोलियो रिटर्न टू 0. What is the expected return of a portfolio constructed to derive the standard deviation of portfolio return to 0? In a combined portfolio, standard deviation 0 है ना. Minimum standard deviation is 0. तो ये प्रॉब्लम एक नया प्रॉब्लम है जहां पर हमको ये मालूम करना how much funds to be invested in stock P, how much funds to be invested in stock Q, so that the portfolio standard deviation will come to 0. Minimum portfolio. Minimum risk portfolio. It is called minimum risk portfolio. This is problem number 22. Minimum risk portfolio. The following formula is used to find the minimum risk portfolio. XP is equal to standard Q square minus rho PQ into standard deviation P into standard deviation Q divided by standard deviation of P square plus standard deviation of Q square minus 2 into rho PQ into standard deviation P into standard deviation Q, where XP is equal to proportion of funds to be invested in security P for having minimum risk portfolio. Standard deviation of security Q, standard deviation of security P, rho PQ, correlation coefficient of returns of PQ. When returns are perfectly negatively correlated, then rho PQ is equal to minus 1. Just now I told rho PQ is minus 1. Now XP is equal to 30 square minus 1 into 25 into 30 divided by 25 square plus 30 square Now this is entirely new problem. We have to find out what is the expected return of a portfolio having a minimum risk. सबसे कम रिस्क कितना होता? जीरो होता. तो what is the expected return of a portfolio when the standard deviation of the portfolio is zero? That's what we have to calculate. So for calculating what is the proportion of funds to be invested to having minimum risk, उसको कहते हैं minimum risk portfolio. तो कम से कम रिस्क लाने के लिए पोर्टफोलियो में कितना पैसा ए सिक्योरिटी, कितना पैसा बी सिक्योरिटी में इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा. तो द फॉलोइंग फॉर्मूला इज यूज्ड टू फाइंड आउट द मिनिमम रिस्क पोर्टफोलियो. एक्सपी इज इक्वल टू सिग्मा क्यू स्क्वायर. दो सिक्योरिटी हम एज्यूम कर रहे हैं, एक पी है एक क्यू है. नाम कुछ भी रख सकते हैं आप, 1 2 भी रख सकते हैं. तो एक्स पी का मतलब होता है प्रपोर्शन ऑफ फंड्स टू बी इन्वेस्टेड इन सिक्योरिटी पी फॉर हैविंग मिनिमम रिस्क पोर्टफोलियो. कम से कम रिस्क पोर्टफोलियो के लिए कितना पैसा, कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट पी में करना चाहिए, वो एक्सपी. एक बार पी का इन्वेस्टमेंट आ गया प्रोपोर्शन, तो ऑटोमेटिकली क्यू का आ जाता. एग्जांपल, इफ इट इज सजेस्टिंग 60% ऑफ फंड्स टू बी इन्वेस्टेड इन पी, तो रिमेनिंग 40% इन क्यू. तो एक मालूम हो गया तो ऑटोमेटिकली यू कैन फाइंड आउट द अदर वन. तो एक्सपी proportion of funds to be invested in security P so that the portfolio will have minimum risk is equal to standard deviation of Q square minus rho. This symbol is called rho, RHO, and this rho is nothing but the correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient, the rho PQ, sigma P into sigma Q, divide by sigma P square plus sigma Q square minus 2 into rho PQ into sigma P into sigma Q. This formula is for finding out how much funds to be invested in security P to have minimum risk. Sigma Q, standard deviation of security Q, sigma P, standard deviation of security P, rho PQ, correlation coefficient of returns of P and Q. ये प्रॉब्लम में इंफॉर्मेशन दे दिया. अब सब्स्टिट्यूट करेंगे. When returns are perfectly negatively correlated, the rho PQ is -1. प्रॉब्लम में जब परफेक्टली नेगेटिवली कोरिलेटेड दिया तो इसका मतलब कोरिलेशन का वैल्यू -1. देन वी सब्स्टिट्यूट. अब पूरे वैल्यूज प्रॉब्लम में दे दिया. सिग्मा क्यू स्क्वायर इज 30 स्क्वायर माइनस रो पी क्यू -1 सिग्मा पी इंटू सिग्मा क्यू डिवाइड बाई सिग्मा पी स्क्वायर प्लस सिग्मा क्यू स्क्वायर -2 इंटू रो पी क्यू इंटू सिग्मा पी इंटू सिग्मा क्यू. पूरे वैल्यू सब्स्टिट्यूट कर दो, आपको एक्सपी 0.45 आता. तो व्हाट इज दिस एक्सपी? यहां पर लिखा हुआ द प्रोपोर्शन ऑफ फंड्स टू बी इन्वेस्टेड इन सिक्योरिटी पी. तो सिक्योरिटी पी में कितना इन्वेस्टमेंट करना पड़ेगा? तो 0.45 इज द इन्वेस्टमेंट टू बी मेड इन सिक्योरिटी पी. तो फिर क्यू में कितना होगा? 1 minus 0.545. To have minimum risk portfolio, the proportion of funds to be invested in stock P is 0.545. Stock Q 1 minus 0.545 is 0.455. ये proportion of funds are. अब expected return of portfolio formula W1R1 plus W2R2. तो W1 का मतलब weight, कितना weight है? 0.545 weight. और return problem में दे दिया 16%. और W2 0.455 और return on second security is 18. तो multiply कर लो, you will get 16.91. तो 16.91 is the expected return of a portfolio which have a minimum risk. Now the next problem, that is problem number 23, 23rd problem. देखिए, third problem is carefully. From the following information, compute expected return based on CAPM and APT, arbitrage pricing theory models. Return on market portfolio RM is 15%, equity beta 1.2 and risk free rate of return 15%. ये तीन चीजों को यूज करके CAPM रिटर्न इजीली वी कैन कैलकुलेट. लेकिन नया पॉइंट क्या है? APT रिटर्न भी मालूम करना. वो APT रिटर्न के लिए फैक्टर्स दे दिया: इन्फ्लेशन, इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन, रिस्क प्रीमियम, unanticipated changes. Or market price of risk is given, sensitivity indexes are given. This data is required for calculating APT return. और पहला जो मार्केट पोर्टफोलियो रिटर्न है, इक्विटी बीटा और रिस्क फ्री रेट, दैट इज यूज्ड फॉर CAPM रिटर्न. तो एक्सपेक्टेड रिटर्न एज पर CAPM. Expected return RP is equal to RF plus beta P into RM minus RF. What is the risk free rate of return? 15 plus 1.2 into what is the market return? 15 minus 15. Therefore, expected return as per CAPM. CAPM रिटर्न के हिसाब से 15%. 15% इसलिए आ रहा है क्योंकि यहां पर एक्सपेक्टेड रिटर्न, मार्केट पोर्टफोलियो रिटर्न 15% एंड रिस्क फ्री रेट ऑल्सो 15%. जब रिस्क फ्री रेट और मार्केट रेट दोनों भी इक्वल हो जाएंगे तो CAPM रिटर्न विल ऑल्सो बी 15%. So first answer completed. Now expected return as per APT. Arbitrage pricing theory. For arbitrage pricing theory, we prepare the table. The factors are given. Market price of risk, then sensitivity indexes, then last column will make the product. So factors, what are the 4 factors given? Inflation, industrial production, next one is risk premium, unanticipated changes. These are the items given. 6234, 1.1, 0.8, 1.0, and lastly it is minus 0.9. Now you multiply. 6 into 1.1 is 6.6. 2 into 0.8 is 1.6. 3 into 1, 3. 4, 9, 3.6 minus 3.6. Now find the total. It is 7.6. 7.6. To this 7.6, we have to add the risk-free rate. Risk-free rate is given in the problem 15%. So 22.6. This is the return as per APT. Arbitrage pricing theory, the return is find out the total of the product. To that total of the product, add up the risk-free rate. The risk-free rate when added, it is the 22.6 is the expected return as per CAPM. Now one last problem, last and final problem, that is 24th problem. See the 24th problem carefully. Arvind stock has a beta of 0.5. So beta 0.5. Lassia stock has a beta of 1.2 and Reshma stock has a beta of 1.25. तो 3 अलग अलग स्टॉक्स है, अरविंद, लासिया एंड रेशमा, तीनों का बीटा दे दिया. if the expected market return is 22%, market return, and risk-free rate is 13%. So 24th problem, RF is equal to 13%. RM is equal to 22%. And beta of Arvind is equal to 0.5. Beta of Lasya 1.2. Beta of Reshma 1.25. Then what would be the expected return on Arvind? Pahla question. Expected return of Arvind. ERP is equal to RI plus RI is equal to RF plus beta I into RM minus RF. अब देखिए रिटर्न मालूम करना. What is the risk free rate? 13%. Beta of Arvind. What is the beta of Arvind? 0.5. Market return is 22 minus 13. 13 plus 0.5 into 22 minus 13 is 9. 13 plus 4.5. 17.5% is the return. Expected return of Arvind is equal to 17.5%. So one answer we got. We got the expected return of Arvind. Now we calculate the second question. What would be the average and expected return of the portfolio if the portfolio consists of 30% of Arvind stock, 40% of Lasya and 30% of Reshma stock? So we have to find out what is the expected return of the portfolio. Portfolio expected return मालूम करना है. Calculation of expected return of portfolio. Calculation of expected return of portfolio, right? So expected return of portfolio. Weights W1 is equal to, how much is the weight of Arvind? Arvind का weight कितना है देखिए, 30%. 0.3. Weight of Lasya is 40%. 0.4. Weight of Reshma is 30%. 0.3. These are the weights. Portfolio, beta of the portfolio. Stock, weight, beta. Product, weighted beta. So first Arvind, second Lasya, third Reshma. Now weights are 0.3, 0.4, 0.3 and beta values are 0.5, 1.2 and 1.25. If you multiply, you will get portfolio beta. If you multiply, you will get portfolio. 0.3 into 0.5 is 0.15. 4 into 1.2 is 0.48. 3 into 1.25, 3.75. So portfolio beta is how much? 1.005. $1.005. We'll check. 0.15 plus 0.48 plus 3.75. How 1.05? No. Portfolio beta we have to calculate 0.15 plus 0.48 plus 3.75. 0.3 into 1.25. 0.375. 0.15 plus 0.48 plus 0.375. 1.005. Right, this is the portfolio beta. Now expected return of the portfolio. ERP is equal to RF plus beta P into RM minus RF. Risk-free rate 13% and portfolio beta 1.005. Market return 22 minus 13. 13 plus 1.005 into 9. 8, 7, 8, 9. That is equal to 13 plus 1.005 into 9, 9.045. That is equal to 22.045. This is the expected return of the portfolio. Expected return of the portfolio. The third question is compute the expected return using part 1. ये part 1 का मतलब this one. How we have calculated the expected return of Arvind. Same way we have to calculate expected return of Lasya and Reshma. Expected return of Lasya. Ri is equal to Rf plus beta I into Rm minus Rf. So risk-free rate 13%. Beta is 1.2. Market return 22 minus 13. 13 plus 1.2 into 7, 8, 9. 13 plus. So when you multiply, you will get to 1.2 into 9. That is 23.8. This is the return of last year. Then expected return of Reshma. Ri is equal to 13 plus 1.25 into 22 minus 13. That is equal to 13, 1.25 into 9. So ultimate answer you will get 24.25. That's all. So these are all the complete problems on portfolio theory, unit number 4. So 24 problems we have done on portfolio theory. So beta calculations कर लिए, CAPM return कर लिए, so many problems we have done. If you practice, you will get a good command on the problems of portfolio management, portfolio theory. ठीक है, inshallah next session will start the last unit, unit number 5, that is portfolio evaluation. So hope everybody have got the good knowledge, good grasp on the subject of this investment management. So we'll continue in the next session.